Now, from Nebraska's trusted news source, this is Channel 8 News at 5.
Coming up tonight on the news, we're going to tell you about a new plan to help alleviate pressure on Nebraska hospitals.
Plus, UNL students are getting free masks to help stop the spread of the virus. But first,
reduce and reuse when you can.
What are you doing with your used COVID masks? Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. No doubt millions of masks have been used during the pandemic here in Nebraska.
That's right, but what are people doing with them is causing some concern for our health and our environment. Channel 8's Alexa Skineski is live with more in our top story tonight. Alexa?
Yeah, some of the concern lies with where people are taking that used PPE, like recycling centers. Officials are asking you not to recycle them, but throw them away.
Kurtzer Brothers Garbage and Recycling has seen the increase in personal protection equipment trash over the last 2 years. Anything from gloves and masks, they're dropping off more and more to the county's landfill.
Yeah, we definitely see more in the garbage cans. We definitely see it more in the streets as it's maybe discarded or lost by different individuals.
Uribe Refuse Service in Lincoln says they're seeing the increase too. They pick up medical waste from our local hospitals and have seen more biohazard materials than years past. In fact, the UN Health Agency reported 87,000 tons of PPE that were obtained from March 2020 to November of 2021 ended up as waste. The agency says the increase in PPE waste has left a strain on waste management systems across the country and is threatening our environment. And our local health collectors are encouraging people to throw their masks away in the garbage and not the recycle bins.
They are made of fabrics and cottons. They do not, and the elastic bands, of course, are not things that belong in the recycling avenue or stream that that gets processed. It has to get picked out, and it just adds to contamination costs and having to have more sorting done with the materials.
Kurtzer Brothers encourages Lincoln to reduce, reuse, and recycle the best you can when it comes to your trash, but especially with your PPE.
Reduce, reuse when possible. I think the K95s can be reused up to 80 or 40 hours or 5 times, and I know the surgical masks are supposed to be thrown away immediately, but reduce and reuse when you can.
And plain and simple, don't recycle them. Don't throw them in those recycle bins. Don't drop them off anywhere. Just throw them away. Reporting in Lincoln, Alexa Skineski, Channel 8 News.
Alexa, thank you very much for that live report tonight. And speaking of masks, starting today, every Husker will receive up to 4 free KN95 masks.
UNL partnered with the state, which provided them with 150,000 of those masks. The initiative was started by the university's student government. Undergrads will get their masks delivered to their residential halls and Greek houses. Others can stop by the student union to pick them up. UNL says there has been a constant flow of students.
Actually kind of crazy. I think the announcement went out around 8 or 9 this morning, and I've been here all morning, and it's kind of crazy to see how many students have come up already and taken initiative and shown that they want to take advantage of this program.
And students must show their N card in order to receive the 4 free KN95 masks. Well, some mixed news from local health officials today. The risk dial does remain in the red.
But the number of COVID cases has dropped nearly 40% over the last 2 weeks.
We've reached our peak and cases are now coming down. This is the beginning of what we hope is a trend in the right direction. We need to continue our current efforts to help preserve access to our hospitals and healthcare, keep schools open, and reduce disruption in business services.
Now here's a look at weekly COVID cases in Lancaster County. You can see the spike in mid-January with nearly 5,000 on there, I believe, and last week a drop of more than 1,900 cases from that spike. The positivity rate also went down from nearly 31% to 25% last week.
One area we haven't seen an improvement in is that's the number of COVID hospitalizations. Take a look at that. Last week there were 134 patients in Lincoln hospitals, and we were just told yesterday that jumped to 147. That's the highest since the pandemic started. And speaking of hospitals, we know they are stretched thin these days, and the state has come up with a new plan to help.
They're moving patients who don't need hospital-level care to other facilities to help free up more beds. It's estimated around 150 patients in Nebraska's largest hospitals who need skilled nursing or rehab can be moved. The state is working with healthcare providers to get this done. Here locally, patients would go to the Seagren House near 34th and Old Cheney.
We have a lot of people that sit in the hospitals for extended periods of time that no longer actually need that hospital level of care. We've been working with the Hospital Association and multiple hospital groups to find ways to help them in any way to decompress their hospitals a little bit so they have availability for patients to be transferred in.
And this plan is not just for elderly patients, but for anyone who doesn't need to continue being cared for in the hospital. The plan is short-term, though, in nature, and DHHS hopes this will help bridge the gap between now and when they can make long-term changes to this type of care. To our kids now, some promising news. The number of COVID cases are also dropping.
Compared to 2 weeks ago here locally, it's down 19%. Meanwhile, Kearney Public Schools will take a week off later this month to help teachers recover and catch up from the pandemic. This all comes as Pfizer requests emergency use authorization for kids 6 months to 5 years old. If approved, the shots would be about 1/10 the strength of adult doses.
To a follow-up now, a guilty verdict has been handed down for a crash that killed 2 people. 50-year-old Yorkwin Crawford pled no contest to 2 counts of motor vehicle homicide. He was arrested after an 8-vehicle crash killed a father and son and injured 5 others. This happening in September of last year here in Lincoln. His sentencing will be on April 1st. The Lancaster County Sheriff's Office is taking part in some special training.
The goal is to help officers stop unnecessary harmful behavior towards each other. It also promotes, well, basically, see something, say something, even when it involves a superior. And much of that stems from the George Floyd murder up there in Minnesota, where younger officers may have been intimidated from stepping in to help.
I've been here for about 10 years. I've always felt like my boss's door was open if I had a problem. But I think especially for our newer deputies, this just gives them maybe the assurance that they would need, that you're not going to be retaliated against. This, if you see something that you don't feel like is quite right, we want you to say something about it.
LSO is one of only 3 law enforcement agencies in the state of Nebraska taking part in this training right now. And coming up tonight on our news at 6 o'clock, a closer look at what they're learning and how it could benefit all of us. Well, Punxsutawney Phil emerged from his burrow this morning and he saw a shadow.
And that means 6 more weeks of winter, supposedly. According to the Pennsylvania Groundhog's website, he's been predicting the season since 1887. Whew, got a long lifespan. Legend has it, if he sees a shadow, we can expect cold temperatures to continue. And of course, if he doesn't, we get an early spring. But the National Centers for Environmental Information says Phil is only right about 40% of the time.
Well, let's get John's take on this. I know it's really, really scientific, John. Can you break it down for us? So about 40%.
Well, we were talking before the newscast. The crazy thing about 40%, if you think about it, he's only got one of 2 options, yes or no. So it's a 50% option in theory most of the time. So he's actually doing less than average by going 40%. Hey, around here, I took my groundhog, or my gopher, who thinks it's a groundhog, this name is Ralph, outside today, and you can see Ralph saw his shadow. I made sure his head was turned away so he wouldn't go scurrying off too quickly if he was scared by the shadow. So at least around here, we did see some high clouds around the area, but we did see a little filtered sunshine coming through to be able to produce some shadows out there this morning. Temperature-wise, boy, it's been chilly all afternoon. Most of the day has been spent into the teens. Officially, we hit 21 degrees today. That happened at 12:23 in the morning. It's currently 16 degrees in Lincoln. It is 16 in Beatrice, 13 in Fairbury, and 14 degrees in Columbus. Winds continue to gust out of the north-northeast, 20 to near 30 miles per hour, giving us wind chill values now down to 0 in Lincoln, 1 below in Beatrice, 3 below in York, 4 below in Hastings, and look out towards Kearney right now. It feels like it's 7 degrees below zero. And as we go through the rest of the evening, the wind chill values are going to continue to hover right around zero, if not going slightly below. And because of that, wind chill advisories are in effect from midnight through mid-morning tomorrow for all the counties shaded in blue, as we will see wind chills at times tomorrow morning anywhere from 10 to as much as 25 degrees below zero. For this evening, 13 by 8, 11 degrees by 10 o'clock. I'll tell you how low the actual air temperature gets tomorrow and when things start to warm back up in my Storm Alert Team forecast.
All right, thank you, John. Big news out of Washington on the crisis in Ukraine. President Biden is sending 2,000 U.S. troops to Eastern Europe and is shifting another 1,000 soldiers currently in Germany to Romania.
The announcement has generated a mix of praise and scrutiny from Capitol Hill. ABC's M. Wynn is tracking this from Washington.
Russian aggression on Ukraine's border, a growing threat to the region. Now the Biden administration officially announcing the deployment of around 2,000 U.S.-based troops to Poland and Germany and the repositioning of 1,000 more U.S. soldiers from Germany to Romania. Pentagon Press Secretary John Kirby saying this move is meant to bolster American and NATO defenses in the region.
These forces are not going to fight in Ukraine. They're going to ensure the robust defense of our NATO allies.
Kirby saying this deployment is in addition to the 8,500 service members who have been placed on a heightened state of readiness, adding he doesn't believe this decision will undermine efforts for a diplomatic solution between Russia and Ukraine.
We do not believe conflict is inevitable.
The decision prompting mixed reaction on Capitol Hill.
I hope this belated action will lead other NATO allies to follow our lead.
This comes as even more Russian troops are reportedly gathering at Ukraine's border, and as new satellite imagery from a private security firm, Maxar, captured Russian military deployments in Belarus and Crimea. Experts saying the troop buildup reflects an increased level of military activity and readiness, and comes after Russian President Vladimir Putin accused the U.S. of ignoring his demands of guaranteeing Ukraine can never join NATO.
Мы не увидели адекватного учета.
Putin voicing his concerns of possibly having to fight NATO should Ukraine join the alliance and try to take back Crimea, which the Russians illegally seized in 2014. Meanwhile, the president and congressional leaders repeating Russia and Putin himself face the threat of severe economic sanctions should he decide to invade Ukraine. The administration says France is also sending troops to Romania and that other nations are discussing ways to send more reinforcement on NATO's eastern flank. M. Wynn, ABC News, Washington.
Still to come on the news tonight, a lawsuit accusing the NFL of racism when it comes to hiring.
That story and your full forecast right after the break.
A Lincoln tradition for 50 years.
Now the latest on that bombshell lawsuit against the NFL.
Former Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores suing the league and 3 teams for alleged racial discrimination. ABC's Morgan Norwood has more.
Former Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores is sounding the alarm about what he describes as racist hiring practices within the NFL. In a proposed class action lawsuit filed Monday, Flores says the league remains rife with racism, particularly when it comes to the hiring and retention of black head coaches, coordinators, and general managers.
We need change. That was the number one reason.
All in the last month, Flores was fired after back-to-back winning seasons in Miami and passed over for the top job with the New York Giants. In his lawsuit, Flores says just last week the Giants invited him to interview for its head coach vacancy. But Flores, who spent 10 years under Bill Belichick with the Patriots, says days before that meeting, his former boss mistakenly sent him these text messages saying the job had already gone to Brian Daboll, a white coach.
Disbelief, humiliation, that was a tough pill to swallow.
Flores also alleges that in 2019, when the Denver Broncos interviewed him, team executives were disheveled and it was obvious they'd been drinking the night before, the team calling those claims blatantly false. They too hired a white coach. Flores now calling both meetings sham interviews, only granted to satisfy the league's 20-year-old Rooney Rule, which mandates teams interview at least one minority candidate for top positions. The NFL responding to the allegations in a statement saying, quote, "Diversity is core to everything we do, and there are few issues on which our clubs and our internal leadership spend more time. We will defend against these claims which are without merit."
This is about equal opportunity for qualified black candidates, not just in football, but, everywhere.
And the Giants released a statement saying that they're confident with the process that resulted in the hiring of Brian Daboll, and that Brian Flores was a part of that process until the 11th hour. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Now, your Storm Alert Team Forecast with Chief Meteorologist John Dessauer.
A cold day around southeast Nebraska. We've had high clouds overhead, turning skies overcast and just allowing for some filtered sunshine to come through at times. That's the case right now as we take a live look in Beatrice. From Schoen's roofing off to the southwest, there is the sun out there trying to break through some of those clouds. And now a live look from Honda of Lincoln on the southwest side of Lincoln, showing you just overcast skies. That's what we're going to remain at least through midnight. Tonight we'll start to see the clouds breaking up slightly, turning partly cloudy. We will see more sunshine by tomorrow afternoon. But boy, has it been chilly. Temperatures throughout the day have only been sitting in the mid-teens to up right around 17 degrees in Lancaster County through much of the afternoon. We are starting to cool back off just a little bit now. It's 16 degrees at the airport. Notice up at Branched Oak Lake and Seward, as well as Milford, coming in at 13 degrees. It's 14 degrees in Firth, 15 degrees in Friend, 14 in York. We got a lot of 14s on here. Columbus, Aurora, 13 now in Hastings and 12 in Kearney. Winds are gusting out of the northeast. 20 to 30 miles per hour. And that's one of the things that's just kind of cutting through the clothes to make it feel very chilly outside or very cold, as wind chill values as of 5 o'clock are sitting at 0 in Lincoln. It feels like it's 3 below in York, same at Aurora, and as much as 7 degrees below 0 is what it feels like in Kearney. As we go through the rest of the evening, the wind chills will remain on the low side through 9 o'clock. We're right around 0, if not just slightly below, and up through 11 o'clock tonight, I should say, down to 2 below in Lincoln, 3 below in Seward. And starting at midnight tonight, the National Weather Service office in Omaha, as well as out in Hastings, has issued a wind chill advisory. It's in effect from midnight through mid-morning tomorrow morning, and the coldest wind chills will likely happen right around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. You'll see on Stormcast going through the overnight hours, and part of the problem is we're going to keep winds gusting at times to 25 miles per hour tonight. So that's why we're seeing a low wind chill. Air temperature is going to drop down to right around 1, but notice by 6 a.m. we're talking 10 below in Lincoln. By 7 a.m., 11 below in Lincoln. By 8 o'clock, 12 below. And I think we could see at times wind chills as low as 20 degrees below 0 through the overnight hours. Actual air temperature, we dropped to 1 in Lincoln, 0 in Seward, 2 below in Columbus, as well as in New York. Now tomorrow, this is still looking at wind chill values. We'll likely see the clouds decrease, especially as we head towards the noon hour and early afternoon. I think we'll see skies turning sunny. But you'll notice temperatures, or at least the wind chill, doesn't start to get a little bit better until late afternoon as the winds begin to ease. So we'll spend much of the day in single digits tomorrow. The actual air temperature will top out at 19 degrees in Lincoln and 20 in both Grand Island and Hastings. Wanted to show you what's going on nationally, spanning almost 2,200 miles from New Mexico up towards Maine. A major winter storm where there are winter storm warnings, there are winter storm advisories, and as well as ice storm warnings right along the Mississippi and Ohio River Valley, as there are two portions of the storm that are impacting portions of the central and eastern United States. Already over a foot of snow reported in portions of Indiana and Illinois and even north or central Missouri. Kansas City today has had upwards of 4 to 5 inches of snow. So travel definitely not advised. Let this thing pass and you'll see snow even up to the northeast may total over a foot as you go up through New York up towards Maine. Now around here, no snow. In fact, it's going to be dry. It looks like we could be dry at least through the 12th or 13th of the month. 37 degrees on Friday. We're back into the upper 40s Saturday. A weak front passes on Sunday. We'll be up to right around 40 degrees. Early next week, still looking for a nice warm up 58 before a cold front comes through, dropping our temperatures slightly by middle of next week. And then we start cooling off a little towards the end of the second weekend of February.
All right, thank you very much, John. Another positive day on Wall Street. The Dow gaining 224 points. NASDAQ up about 71.5. Here are your numbers. You're watching Channel 8, Nebraska's trusted news source.
Tonight, after the powerful testimonies.
Finally tonight, brave responders arrived to a raging house fire to help trapped victims make a leap of faith
and end up saving their lives. Here's tonight's Take a Look at This.
Tense body cam video captured responding deputies in Illinois breaking the fall of a woman jumping from a raging townhouse fire. 3 Kendall County deputies were first on the scene of the complex fire in Montgomery, where 2 people were reported trapped upstairs.
We both knew at that point that this was a life or death situation.
There was a ton of smoke. It was hard to see. And then I noticed the first victim starting to come out of the window.
The force of the woman's 20-foot jump knocked the deputy to the ground. Moments later, a second victim can be seen jumping from the flaming window. The deputies rushed everyone away from the engulfed building as local fire authorities began to tackle the blaze. The victims, who suffered only non-life-threatening injuries, were later reunited with their dog, who they dropped out of the window ahead of themselves.
To see the end result of it, I mean, that's what we both wanted.
From braving extreme heat to braving very extreme cold. That's what Navy and Coast Guard divers from California are doing in Minnesota, cutting holes in the ice of a frozen over lake and preparing to jump right in.
Being here is definitely different.
Organizers say the frigid locale at Camp Ripley is perfect for cold water diver training, even if members of the California-based unit aren't too jazzed about it.
And you can see it in the guys' faces when they're about to dive. They're just kind of in their chi, trying to figure out how they're going to do this.
For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
All right, let's get a final check of your weather with John. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel, as they say, right, with the temperatures?
Once we get to the weekend. So we've got just a little ways to go. Tonight we will see our temperatures drop to the teens, but the big story is going to be the winds. They may be gusting 25 miles per hour. Early tomorrow morning, we could have wind chills as low as 10 degrees below zero to maybe as much as 25 degrees below zero. So if you are going out later tonight, tomorrow morning, make sure you bundle up and cover any exposed skin.
Oh, that light is pretty dim that I see down at the end of that tunnel there.
Thanks, John. Thank you all for joining us.
See you at 6.
With the Channel 8 Eyewitness News mobile app, you'll be the first to know. Get alerts about breaking news and weather, all in the palm of your hand. Closed captioning on Channel 8 Eyewitness News.